Wilbon, your thoughts on how this ended and what Belichick meant to the Patriots and the NFL?
Tony, it really did seem to me sort of funereal. Just to me, this is how it struck me. And I realize that's not necessarily the case, and it seems like Bill Belichick's going to go on and coach somewhere else, and he still has quite the appetite for it. But watching Robert Kraft talk, and I was more interested in hearing Kraft talk. I mean, there's no point to hearing Belichick unless you're, in private with him. And I've had the luxury of having had that, the pleasure of having had that a few times in my life, where Bill Belichick's a real person and he's not standing in front of a microphone where it seems like somebody's killing him to be there. So I liked hearing Kraft more talk about his appreciation for Belichick and how he hired him and his impressions of him when he came after a less successful stint in Cleveland and what it was going to be like to go out and try to find somebody else coming up. And I was interested in hearing, and I'm going to beat you to go to the glasses, sort of, kind of. I was interested in hearing the former Belichick players like Teddy Bruschi, Damian Woody, Louis Riddick on our air. Just talk about what he meant to them, how he changed them, what he was like during a week of preparation, what he was like during game day. I was interested in hearing or reading, listening to Tom Brady's tweet when he thanked Belichick, and it was long and it was appreciative and it was even loving, if I can use that word. So I'm just soaking in the reaction from people close to Belichick. It's a larger universe than people might think, but it's not all that large. It's football people. And Belichick's a fascinating guy, and everybody goes at some point, and it didn't seem to have a lot of acrimony in it. And if that's the case, good.
Okay, I don't mean to cast any aspersions on Bill Belichick, because I don't think we're ever going to see somebody win 6 Super Bowls and go to 9 Super Bowls again.
No.
And I'm comfortable with the notion that he's the greatest NFL coach of all time, though I'm old enough to remember Vince Lombardi, and I might advocate for Vince Lombardi. But Belichick is absolutely great. I just think that I think some people are getting carried away with their valedictories. So there's 2 words that I think must be said here in context. And those 2 words are Tom Brady. Nothing happened without Tom Brady. Tom Brady left and won a Super Bowl on his own, and Bill Belichick spent the next 3 or 4 years pretty much treading water in the shallow end of the pool. And I would also say that it seemed to me that Bill Belichick got fired today. Not, it was politely done. But Bill Belichick the last 2 days was talking about, I coach the team, I get up, I go to work, this is what I do. Maybe he didn't mean it, but that's what I heard him say. And I think it's impossible not to believe that this is the outcome Robert Kraft wanted. And I'll say one other thing here. This is not a surprise, okay? Pete Carroll was a surprise. Nick Saban was a surprise. We've been talking about this for the last 2 years. The only surprise is that we can now put this date on it. That's all.
Yeah. And not looking for, these things have to come to an end. By the way, I would just say this about the Brady comparison. Phil Jackson had Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Shaq and Scottie Pippen. They all have great players.
That's 4 different people.
You're not winning without great players, so I don't hold that against Belichick.
I'm not holding it against them. I'm saying you got to mention it. Like, it's not just him.
You do.
Like, he's with Brady.
They do.